ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, everyone. Now, here's Bentley.
Thanks, Santa. What's up, my chaotic crew? Bentley Michaels here. Hey, we hope you all are going to have a wonderful holiday season. If you want to sneak away from your family tomorrow, by tomorrow I mean this, if you download this on Monday, sneak away, have a little Christmas present, just us with a big old bowl of mashed potatoes and gravy. We hope you have a great holiday season. We hope your Hanukkah was great. Hey, if you're just a person that deserves presents, well, gosh darn it, I hope you get a whole bunch of presents. And our present to you, as I've been saying, this Thursday, belated Christmas gift, babies. Josh Lorimer of the Sneak Attack podcast, who played Greg, who created the Titans of Altera. It's my almost 2-hour interview. I think it's just a little under 2 hours with him. We talk about all sorts of stuff. So until then, oh D&D, oh D&D, now listen to this music.
In a vast landscape full of adventurers, you are now listening to the world of chaotic amateurs.
And welcome back to Chaotic Amateurs in this very special edition solo dash Paelias episode. I am your host and DM for this, Bentley Michaels. Across from me, we have the ever elusive.
Yeah, no, I escape people.
Your name is?
Dash is Paelias Ian Earth.
Yeah, and where we last left Dash and his crew, Paelias, with the help of Dip, who started Australian and turned into Bad Michael Caine, and Strolgon, they got back Grommock, Grogok's and Tered's younger brother, who was on the Howling Knight, the ship of Roland the Red. Strolgon straight up, arrowed somebody right off. You used some distraction with some gold and stuff like that. And then you snuck aboard the ship. And, Dip doing a gainer down into the...
Dip, wily little character he is.
And you guys made your way back through the town, and they're very happy. You guys have retreated into the bar for the evening, in which you had much merriment, much drinks going around, and that sort of thing. It is now the morning. Paelias, you wake up with your head on the bar. Tered is like in a booth. Everyone had a good time celebrating last night, and Grommock's not normally like that. She's a woman of business, and she knows how to, run the business correctly. But she was very happy to see her brothers, and you guys awaken to a pounding, not only in your heads, but at the front door, which is still barred. And the adventure begins.
What is that? Oh my, okay, is that in my head? Anyone else hear that? It is pounding.
And Tered is kind of like, what's going on? Oh, man. And Grommock is like, it's probably the people who want breakfast. We have regulars and they open. So she goes over and...
Wait. That might be Roland the Red. I'm just saying we did just steal one of his prisoners. You got a little peephole? Take a little peek poo.
She's like, he doesn't know anything about us.
Oh, Grommock. No.
And then she do, and as if you had clairvoyance, the door kicks open. And kind of like bangs Grommock, and she kind of stumbles backwards, and in walks Roland the Red, his were-tiger, which I don't think anybody's ever asked the name of yet.
No one has asked his name.
and then a couple of other, because you straight up fire incinerated one of them. So now
At least one, yeah.
Yeah, so now he's only got 5 lackeys instead of 6, and he's like, looks around. He's like, oh,
Everybody's a bit hungover, huh? Celebrating something, perhaps?
Well, I don't know if you remember when we first met, but I kind of celebrate every
You're the
night.
fire guy.
I mean, faces are hard to place in places like this, so am I or don't know. It's hard to really tell, I think. And plus, you look a little worse for the wear, so maybe you're hungover as well. You know what? We're all hungover, so let's all just grab a drink and just keep this party going.
Where is he?
because Grommock isn't out there. He went back to their actual their actual home. He was escorted home by Dip and Strollgon, and then you guys just kind of stayed there and tied one on.
Where is he? Are you talking about the good time? Because it looks like it's right here. So let's go ahead. Grommock, let's get around for more fellas here.
And hoping to keep the peace, she runs behind the bar and starts pouring out ales, and they all kind of saddle up to the bar, and he takes a couple swigs, and he's like,
You know, the damnedest thing happened last night. Two of my guards, well, they used to be two of my guards, said that there was somebody screaming about gold down by the ships late at night. And we fished out one of my men with an arrow in his throat, floating next to the boat. Lo and behold, your little brother is missing from the bottom of my ship, and here you are, all hungover. So I'm just trying to put one and one together to make two.
And Paelias walks over and kind of nonchalantly just kind of puts his arm on his shoulder and goes,
Well, you know, that's the pirate life, right? You know, it's always like, oh, I think I got everything, and then all of a sudden, another pirate comes aboard and just does some crazy stuff. But nothing weird here. We're all totally normal. Nothing happened
and he
here.
grabs you
Blech.
by, like, you know, he grabs like your either side of your jacket, and he kind of like brings it together, and then lifts you up so he sees you eye to eye, because he's taller than you.
Yeah, he's way huge.
But I do like the fact that, like, your arm was probably like way up on top of his
It was
shoulder.
more like on the side of his arm because he's way taller than me.
And he goes,
You know, ever since you came to town, there's been trouble. And I kind of like things the way they were. So, I'm going to give you a couple of options. One, I kill you right now. Or two, you leave and never come back.
and so he's just sort of holding you there, and you can sort of feel this intense heat coming out of his nostrils, and as if for just a little bit of effect, it's like two little lighter sized things of poofs of fire come out of his nose. And I'm gonna roll for, what's your passive AC?
Oh, my AC?
Yeah, you're normal. Sorry, passive AC. What am I talking about?
My passive.
Sorry, I was thinking passive perception, but I mean your AC. Like what?
It's 12.
12? Okay. Well, then with a 14, he singes your eyebrows a little bit.
Ow, that hurt. All right, how about this? A third option. I know it's not one of your original two. All right, let's parlay here. All right, and I offer a Grim Reaper.
And even though there's only, 9 people in there, he like lets go of you, and you drop down about 1.5 feet, and the room is kind of quiet. And then he just starts laughing, and his other pirates again start laughing, as if on cue. They're like, okay.
He's like, you want to challenge me to a Grim Reaper?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yep. I'm certain of it.
We've been aboard your ship, and you want to put that ship against the one that's you've seen mine.
Well, I mean, we don't have any definitive proof that I've seen yours. You seem to still be speculating, and I'm taking a firm stance that we were here drinking all night. But yes, I'll challenge you to a Grim Reaper. And I know my ship don't look like much, but trust me, alright, she gets the job done. Alright. She's a tough old broad.
When do you want to do it?
You name the time and place, buddy. It seems to be your world we're living in, so...
This is going to take a while to set up, of course.
Right.
And you don't mind if I handle the course?
Go ahead, do whatever you have to do, Roland.
All right. Tomorrow, 9, when the sea is glassy, be in the port that you've never been to before, where my ships are parked.
All right, 9's a little early, but
Be
sure.
there.
I'll show up. Yep.
And he drinks the entire mug of ale, as do the rest of his guys. And he just kind of throws the tankard on the floor, and they kind of clang because they're metal. And they all walk out, and he's kind of chortling to himself. He's like, gonna challenge me to a Grim Reaper. Yeah. Oh, and everyone's kind of like, you're the best, boss.
Just little lackeys.
Yeah, no, you're the best, boss. You gotta kill him. And Tarad comes over to you and he's like, what do you think you're doing?
What? I'm saving the day. Look, I'm
A
trying
Grim
to...
Reaper, he has a full-on, actual-size pirate ship.
Okay, I'll take immediate offense. All right, I've got a pretty good ship over there.
Your ship is amazing. I'm
you.
just saying that it's a quarter the size of his and built for max 8 people. He has an entire crew working on his. That's 20, 30 people.
You bring up some excellent points. However, I'll have to do this, okay? I feel like it's become my responsibility. I kind of got you guys into this a little bit, yeah? So, I think it should be me who gets you guys out.
Well,
I did get your younger brother back, eh?
and Grommock puts a stein on the counter, and it's got a little celery sticking out of it. It's got a couple of green olives on top, and it's what would be like a 24-ounce stein or something with some red liquid in it. And you see her put a little bit of hot sauce, sprinkle a little pepper on top of it, and she goes, drink this, and it's going to right you. It's my morning cure for what we did last night.
Ah, perfect. A bloody Judy.
And he throws it back.
Tarad says to you, in order for you to do this Grim Reaper, you're going to need other people on your ship.
That's true, I don't have a crew.
Now you're going to need somebody big like me to man the cannons.
Do it.
Okay. I know this isn't going to be a popular option, but Grommock, we should enlist Grommock. He's been on a ship recently. And they start arguing about it. And she's like, we just got him back. I don't want to, and he's like, we owe him. And, and it's kind of like the patriarch of this family has spoken, and he doesn't always get to win, but in this case, she's like, I don't like it. And she looks right at you, Paelias, and says, and if anything happens to either of them, I'm going to hold you personally responsible.
Okay, I'll take that.
And He's like, and then we're gonna need someone to man the sails, and then we're gonna need a lookout up. Well, I think I know just the guys. And so Tarad's like, follow me, Paelias.
All right.
And so he starts going around to town. You start going through the town. You guys go out the back way and like the sort of the back street, and you start to go up the hill. And then instead of going like straight down to the other side, which was where the ship was, where you were last night, as you get to the top of the hill, you take a left, and you start to go into a much more sort of a wooded kind of area. It's not super thick like Laurelin with like huge trees, but it's definitely a little bit more forest meets tropical jungle type of thing. And you get to a certain spot, and then all of a sudden you hear right behind you a bow sort of like that being, and you feel like an arrow in the back of your head.
Oh, I think we found someone.
And you hear the voice of Strolgon. You know, for an elf, you're awfully noisy.
Yeah, I'll get that a lot. Yeah, I know. Well, half-elf, remember. So I think that's my human side that's kind of loud and brash.
Okay. And you turn around, and it's your pal Strolgon, the wood elf.
Oh, Strolgon.
And Tarad turns around and is like, Strol, come on. Quit messing around. And you look back at Strolgon, and he's kind of like smirking or whatever. And he's like, what can I do for you, gentlemen? I trust that your brother is still okay.
Yeah, no, that, he's still good and all, but, all seem to have challenged Roland the Red to a Grim Reaper, and my ship doesn't have a crew. I have not thought most things I do through, so we need some help. Are you in?
A Grim Reaper. What? So I'm assuming that what am I doing? Who else is involved here?
Well, we've got Tarad here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Grommock.
Okay, so they're likely cannons.
And me.
Let me guess, we're going to go get Dip next.
I mean, that seems like the likely thing to do, yeah? That's
all right.
You're the only people I know.
So he's lookout, which means I'm utility. All right. Well, anything to help out Tarad here. I owe him. Well, let's go get Dip.
All right. Yes, this crew's coming together.
and he's like, follow me. And Strolgon just like turns around, and now it's him, it's you, it's Grommock, and Tarad, who was once leading the way, is now bringing up the rear. And you guys basically just come back the way you come. They live on opposite sides of town, and like you go down. You get right back to the same spot where you were, up at the sort of top of the hill, and you look to your left and you see the ships. You see off in the distance sort of Roland the Red and like his group of people, like they've made their way sort of back around through like the main sort of street and come around, obviously like taking the scenic route, and they are now walking back to the ships and strutting about. And you start to go down the other side of the hill into a much more thicker housed area, and you get to what looks like a shack that is abandoned. And Strolgon's like, just don't touch anything.
It's gonna be difficult. I'm very touchy.
And he kind of gives a little very sort of syncopated knock. And then you hear one back on the other side. And then in response, Strolgon And then you hear a bunch of click, 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 and the door opens, and standing in front of you is Dip, the half elf, or the halfling rather, and it's like, Strogon, so wonderful to see you. And Terrid, Grommock, and you, Paelias. Oh, you were quite wonderful last night, I have to tell you. What's going on here, gents?
Well, Dip, I seem to have gotten myself into a bit of a situation.
Oh, dear Lord. All right, come inside. Come inside.
All right.
And so he ushers everyone in, and you're in. The reason it looks like such a small shack is because, well, he's 3 feet tall, and so it's basically a 10 by 10 room with very small things in it. And you see a little twin size bed with in the upper left hand corner from when you enter into the shack, upper left hand corner, there's a twin size bed with a with a chest next to it. To the right, there's like a little kitchen area with he's got like a little fireplace thing with a kettle or like a cauldron sort of like over it. It's like, it looks like there's like a stew or something being made, and he's got a tiny little table and a little round throw rug like right in the middle of the place, like right in the floor. And he's like, and Terrid and Grommock really have to duck, and they kind of come in and they're just like kind of hunched over, and they each try to kind of like find a corner. He's like, all right, so we don't want the prying ears of everyone else around. So what's the problem here, Paelias?
All right, well, I'll challenge Roland to a Grim Reaper.
You did what?
All right, I'll get it. You're mad. So far, that's the same reaction everyone else is having. Hear me out. All right, I'll need a crew on my ship, not a big one, and I'll need a lookout, and you're tiny, and my bird's nest is really tiny. Eh? And I feel like magic. Eh? Am I sensing? I'm sensing the magic.
You're sensing. Well, actually, you know what? Roll me. What's that?
See if I can figure out what class he is. I don't remember. If
Yeah.
you told me.
What? I didn't. I just said he was a halfling.
That's true.
Yeah, roll me a perception. Just like a.
Okay. Okay, so 4.
Then you're definitely like holding your hands out like you were before, like doing the wax on wax off.
Yeah.
You're like, magic, huh? I'm sensing it.
Oh, you magical, huh?
And he's like, no.
All right, that's off. That's fine. But you seem very useful. You were very useful the other night. So I could use you on my ship. I think you'd bring a lot to this team.
All right, and you are all in. Is that what I'm in? Terrid and Grommock and Strogon, they all nod, but like Strogon kind of like rolls his eyes, and he's like, well, it's not like I'm doing really much of anything else. So, if you'll excuse me, 1 second, please. And he's just sort of like in you would imagine his lounging
His
attire.
smoking jacket.
Yeah, his smoking jacket, and so everyone, he's like, give me 1 second, please. And yeah, he so you guys all go back out and everything, and you hear like some moving around, you hear some wood shifting, and you hear like some cling clangs and of a few things, and then the door opens, and he's in full regalia that you saw. He's got his robes, he's got his daggers, he's got his belts with everything on, and he's like, all right, so what ship are we manning?
All right, we're gonna get on my ship called the Pale Lady. It's
that sounds
docked.
wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you. It's docked just over there. It's a tiny ship. Terrid, do you think we're gonna need any more people for this, or do you think this tiny ragtag crew's gonna do it?
Well, based off of your boat, this should be sufficient.
All right, perfect. Let's go get ourselves familiar with my ship
Okay.
and our roles and what we're doing.
Okay, so now you make it down to the smaller dock in which you were at, which is usually more like, for skiffs and like more personal boats and that sort of thing. And you take them on board, and you're kind of showing them around the ship, which is fairly easy because they can stand there and just look left to right and be like, it's not hard. It's not like it's like a it's not like a huge pirate ship. And you bring the cannons from below. You get those ready because you don't normally just keep them on there. Just because you normally travel by yourself, so it's easier for you to sort of be a navigator and like be a really sort of a badass ship driver than like running down there trying to set up a cannon then running back and all that sort of stuff. So you start putting Tarad and Grommock through the paces of your of what the Grim Reaper is going to entail. You're letting them know that at one point there are going to be targets in which they are going to have to hit. Then you break out the oars, and you say then there's going to be some maneuverability challenges in which we will have advantage on those as we have a smaller ship. We're going to have to then go around the bend and turn back around, and then it's going to be a long fire shot to a target distance, long, straight out in front of you, and then it's a race to the finish line. But in the race to the finish line, and you say, it can get real wily near the end.
It's gonna get real cat-like. There's gonna be claws that were-taggers probably gonna hiss at us.
We will likely get attacked. They have more cannons. They have more. Their ship, while bigger, ours is ours technically, if we play our cards right, can be faster. So we need the maneuverability, and we need people on oars, and we need people making the right cannons. Now, once we get into the home stretch, we're going to need to bring the cannon from Grommock's side over to the depending on which side that you guys are starting on in the bay. It could be Grommock or Tarad. You're going to have to switch to make sure you're on both sides, because if they start firing at us, we're going to need to fire back at them. And essentially, a Grim Reaper is part obstacle course and who's a better sailor, and you're essentially racing for pink slips.
All right.
Real Fast and the Furious.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's what a Grim Reaper is. So first off, there's the an accuracy in shooting target thing. Then there's like the ski slaloms basically, and weaving in and out and doing. There's going to be markers out there for you guys to sort of go through, and then like I said, you got to whip it around. And then this is where your crow's nest person comes in, and they're going to have to give you really good directions. And you've got a long shot cannon, and you're going to have to nail that. And then it's an all out battle to get to the finish line first. Most people end up sinking another person's ship. Paelias, you know all this. I'm telling the listeners. And people lose ships all the time, and not just because the rights in the deed of the ship is turned over. They still give those to the other person, but most of the time it's because the ship ends up sinking to the bottom of the ocean. So Paelias, in relaying all this, you guys spend the rest of the day kind of going through drills just sort of in the harbor. You attract somewhat of a small crowd that as word spreads of what you're doing, people recognize you as the guy who saved somebody in the town square. The bread guy.
I saved the baker.
I was just going to say, the bread guy actually brings you guys lunch. He brings
Baked
you,
goods.
some fresh bread and some cheeses and meats, like a little deli tray type of thing.
Nice.
And so for your guys' lunch, and at this point now you feel fully HP fully restored, and
Nice.
all the spell slots, that took a little while, a bit longer to regenerate with how much you guys drank, but now you guys are feeling good, exercising, working as a team. You as a captain have getting them acquainted to what they need to do and just running them through drills. And surprisingly, you're very, very good. When you have something to focus on, you're in it to win it, Paelias.
All right, man the sails, climb up in the bird's nest, get a good line of sight, measure distances, arm the cannons.
Yeah.
Also, I passed out over there once. If you look over there, I've also passed out over there.
Yeah, and then you say, you tell the guys, let's take it for a dry run, and you sort of take it out of the harbor, and and you take it out onto the opposite end of where you will be tomorrow, and just sort of to get them all used to the waves actually moving and that sort of thing, and you're running them through their drills now that once they had them just sort of lightly bobbing there in the bay. Now you take them out on the ocean, and you work them all day, work them really, really hard after lunch. And by the time you come back into the harbor, the sun is starting to set, and very magically, it's just it's over the ocean. And Paelias, you're very wistful, and you feel actually very good about what's going on here, because Grommock's been working on a ship. Tarryd clearly has some skill, and you've chosen well with your utility players and your crow's nest guy.
All right, I like my chances. I like all chances. I think we're gonna beat Roland the Red handedly tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone's feeling pretty good, and the Dip and Strolgon, they split off from you after you dismiss them, and then you, Tarryd, and Grommock go back to the Rusty Tankard. Dinner rush is in full effect, and Grommock is like, little help, please.
No, yeah, no.
And he takes off his pirate coat, and he still has the apron underneath. He's just never taken it off because he's just.
I'm so glad you remember that.
He's not very aware, and he's like,
Oh, I'm ready for work.
All right, so she's like, so you go back behind into the kitchen, and Tarryd, Grommock starts bussing tables. Tarryd starts taking out drinks to people at different tables and all that sort of stuff, and you guys do dinner service, and now it's just it's getting later. There's just some of the barflies that are around, continuously, and you three, Tarryd, and Grommock and Paelias, are all sitting at the bar, regaling Grommock of all of the stuff that you did today and how confident you feel. And while she still seems very annoyed, she does seem actually somewhat somewhat confident in your abilities. She doesn't seem as annoyed as she once was. She tells you all, you should get ready for tomorrow. Turn in early. Good day's rest. It's going to be very physically laborious.
Right.
I will send Tarryd and Grommock to you in the morning, Paelias, as I assuming you were sleeping on your ship.
Of course, it's the only place I can fall asleep. I'm just gonna take this little flask and we'll fill this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna have a drink on the way.
Yeah, and that is the same flask that you used on the island after Ashwin. So your idea of a little flask is actually pretty much like a triple flask.
Yep, that's how I'll do it.
It's very long and skinny, but it's like if 3 normal flasks were stacked on top of each other. So she allows you to fill it up, and because she's starting to take a little bit of a shine too. She thinks you're kind of funny, and so you make your way back to your ship. All right, what would you like to do once you're on your ship?
Paelias is gonna just kind of shuffle about in his cabin and look at various things, because he's a little drunk now, because he's been sleeping all night.
Sweet flask.
And he's gonna make sure Everything's looking right and tight, ready, steady.
All right, roll me a perception.
12. No, 10. 10.
Okay. Then because it is your boat, the one thing I will say to you is that you don't hear it because you didn't roll good enough, but you have a weird sort of it's like you're going through your stuff and all of a sudden you're like, it feels as though someone else is on my boat. But maybe it's just a passing thought. You don't know because you're not like technically really hearing footsteps. You know this area very well and you're kind of like,
I get a sense. Paelias is gonna just kind of walk around and maybe go below deck.
Okay.
Because he wants to check the cannons.
Okay.
Make sure they're ready to go tomorrow. And
Okay.
then he's gonna look at like supplies and rations and all that stuff.
Okay. So you go below deck, and you're looking through your cannons, and you only have 2, but on either side you have 2 ports for them because you don't want 4 cannons because it's too much weight, and you kind of like how fast your ship is.
Yeah.
You've got you're checking your supplies, and you realize that some of some of your supplies might be a little bit past their due date.
Right.
You might have to
that makes
restock
sense.
up here. Maybe go talk to the baker about your flour, and maybe see if you can trade some baking secrets with him because you really like that bread that he brought yesterday.
Oh, he makes a sick-ass rye.
And roll me another perception because you're just like maybe this is what it is. Maybe I'm just forgetting something. Maybe I'm
4.
okay. Then you're like, well, it's time to go above deck. And
Well, must be nothing. Time to sleep.
and so you sort of climb up your little ladder and get above deck. And unfortunately for you, you're going to get a little sneak attack action happening with a dagger.
Uh-oh.
And so this person is going to roll. Oh God. 8 to hit. Or sorry, 12 to hit.
You meet.
Okay, so meets beats. Yeah, I rolled a 4, but they have a +8 to the
Jeez.
attack. Okay, so and then I think with sneak attack, I think attack if you have and I have advantage on the attack roll anyway. Okay, so now I have to roll a 1d4 +5 piercing damage. So you take 9 piercing damage.
Owie.
You come up, and you're like, oh. So let's see. I need supplies for the bread, and like you're ticking it off as you start to walk back, and you don't realize the person that has sort of been like behind the center mast, and has just sort of been like, as you walk towards it, he was on the opposite side, and then as you walk by, he just sort of went around to the other side and come up behind you. And just boom, right between the right side of your ribs, and just and wrenches it in there.
All right. Yeah, no, that's not cool.
And he pulls it out and then pushes you forward. And make me a Constitution check real quick to see if you stay standing. See how much that thing in the ribs messed you.
17.
All right, you stay standing. You're like. It's kind of like like when you stub your toe and then like you kind of like do the little skip thing. You're like, but you're holding your ribs and you turn around and you're like, and now you see a very shadowy figure, hood up, dark robes, couldn't look more so assassin. And he's like,
Okay.
You're not racing tomorrow.
All right. Well,
Roland doesn't want you to.
bring any sort of hope to these people, so I hope you're prepared to die.
Yeah, no, I'm getting the whole killing thing. Yeah, no, it's very obvious what you're trying to do. All right.
I'm gonna shoot a scorching ray at him.
Oh, okay.
And it's 3 rays of fire, so I make an attack for each one.
Okay. You want an extra 20?
Huh?
Do you want an extra 20?
Hold on, let me just double check this. We got a 16, a 15, and a 9.
Okay, do you add anything to this?
No, that's it. I added them.
Okay, 1 hits.
Nice.
So that's 2d6 fire damage.
Oh, nice.
It takes 9.
Oh, boy.
We're just gonna trade blows.
All right, can I have my Paelias dice? Got to kill you with it.
All right, good luck, sucker.
All right, and so you said 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is it? A ball of fire comes out of your hand, or?
Yeah, they're rays of fire. It's a ray
Okay,
of fire.
so a ray of fire. It just it almost looks like a what would be like a flashlight beam turning on, but it like zooms out, and then it's like the flashlight turns off, but like the end of the ray ends up catching up as it hits this person. You know, sort of it doesn't look like a ball of flame or anything like that. It just looks like, heat vision or something like that.
Yeah.
And it hits this person, it knocks them back, and they're sort of like patting out their clothes, like, and he kind of chuckles. He's like, "Oh, all right." And then without notice, let's see here. Yep, 18 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So he pulls out his short bow and just all of a sudden, like off his back, and just and 2 plus 7 damage.
So 9?
No, 7 total.
Oh, okay. All right.
7 damage. Hits you,
Okay.
and this arrow just goes like right through. Is Paelias right or left-handed?
He would be right-handed.
Okay, so it goes through your left side, right through like the right underneath the what is this?
Your
Collarbone?
clavicle? Collarbone?
Yeah, right underneath the collarbone. You just feel it kind of like hit the bone a little bit, but it goes out. It's clean through the other side, and you're like, oh boy.
Oh, that hurt. All right, I didn't like that at all. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. Worst for the wear, worst for the wear, worst for the wear. I'm gonna cast
Magic missile on him.
Nice.
I'm going to shoot all 3 darts. And, and I'll deal the damage.
Okay.
So that's. Do you have a D4 I can borrow?
Yep. Paelias D4.
So 10 damage.
Okay, he's going to use his reaction of Uncanny Dodge. When an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to have the attack's damage against you. So how much was it?
It was 9.
Okay.
No, 10. It was 10 damage.
Okay, so 5 damage. Oh, good. Once again, you hit him with some magic, and he's and he gets lit up with these magic missiles, and he's like, all right, no more screwing around. And I would say, let's see here. I would say that your boat is probably no longer than 25 feet ish.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
It's pretty small. Sure.
And so he's going to take out his short sword and his dagger to engage 2-weapon fighting.
All right.
And he's going to charge at you using about 15 feet of movement speed. and he's going to swing at you. Let's see here. Bollocks. 11 with the short sword, so he misses. So he swings, and it's like, you duck out of the way, but he's going to take his bonus action to try to stab you again in the same side, your right side with his left hand. Roll a 10. That magic missile, like as he was starting to move. As he was taking this stuff out. The magic missile hit him, and it kind of threw him off his game, and so like he swung, and then he swung over your head because you ducked with his right hand, and as you start to come back up, he like went to stab you. He's holding the dagger upside down, so the blade is facing the ground, and he swings through, and then like you just sort of jump back, and now he's like in a defensive stance with the sword up, by his right ear, and the dagger out in front pointing at you. And that's his turn, and now he's right in front of you. He's not happy.
All right, I'm gonna cast Shatter.
Okay.
A sudden, loud, ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of your choice within range. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Okay.
You gotta beat 15.
Okay. 5.
Yeah. Do you have a D8? 6 damage. 6 thunder lightning damage.
So what does it do exactly?
It's like a loud, sharp pain erupts, and anyone in that who doesn't save in the Constitution saving throw takes lightning damage.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, all of a sudden, like he hears this high pitched noise, high pitched sound, whatever, and it just in his head, and he's like. He's holding his weapons in his hands still, brings his hands up to his ears, and he's trying to like make it stop and he's not doing well, and so he's super mad, and he's gonna just swing at you again. With it, he's gonna like run forward and charge at you, and 17 hits for the sword, and a 10 does not hit for the bonus action of the dagger. So for the sword, he comes running at you, and he just gives you a big old hack, and slices you right across the chest there, and you take 7 slashing damage.
Owie.
And he slashes you right across, and he's like standing there now in a different defensive pose, and he's got the sword sort of behind him with his right arm underneath, almost like the left elbow is resting on his forearm, and it's like got it so he could like come out forward and just like stab at you with the dagger, like if you came in too close. You're up, Paelias.
All right, I'm gonna cast a lightning bolt. It's 100-foot long, straight in front of me.
It's a dex
We
saving.
all know how this worked last time. You mobbed 30 people
It's a
with
dex saving throw.
Okay. What do I got to beat?
15.
Oh, woof. Plus my dex. Nope, 13.
Ah, yes!
I got a +5 to it.
All right. 8d6. So do you have a couple d6 I can use?
If you tell me the numbers, I'll start adding them up for you.
Paelias is like,
All right, you don't want to play around? Well, neither do I.
16, holy crap, dude. So 30 points of damage.
yeah.
All right, so unlike last time, where like you sent out this line of lightning, and it seemed to like it go above people, and then as it was going to put it like zip down. Since he's fairly close, he's within melee attack range of 5 feet. You just like it's not as cool looking visually, but it just like zips out and like right above his head, just almost immediately, and just like this fat thing of lightning that's as big and around as like a normal in shape 6'2" human being just comes right down on him, and you just, and you just you just see this guy, and he's smoking afterward, like there's smoke coming off of him, and he's looking a little bit worse for the wear, and he's going to just try to swing at you with his sword again. And you did a number on him because he's tired, and with even with his +5, he only got a 10. So he comes in with you, and holding those two metal dagger and a sword does not work out well for him. And he kind of stumbles and just wildly swings at you, and he doesn't even get close to you. And now he's just pretty much right in front of you.
All right, I'm going to shoot Chromatic Orb at him.
Okay.
Which I have to make a range. I'm doing a spell.
Okay.
So 20, not natural.
Nailed him.
And I get to choose the type of damage. So...
is murder a type of damage?
Is murder a damage? I choose murder. No, I'll choose acid for funsies.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay.
So 13 damage.
Okay. So, what does it shoot out of your hand?
I shoot a little tiny 4-inch diameter sphere
Okay.
of acid at him.
Okay, so you shoot this 4-inch sphere of acid right at him. Would you like to say anything to him?
Yeah, suck my acid.
All right, and you shoot it right at his face, and it hits, and it sort of pops, and he's confused for a second, and then all of a sudden it's his face starts to melt, and his skin melts right off, and you see the bone, but then also the bone starts to crumble, and it just goes all the way down. His clothes are gone, his skin is it, and now, within about 10 seconds, in front of you is just a pile of gloop sitting in front of you, and the assassin sent by who knows? I don't know. You don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure this was Roland. Yeah, it was the only person who definitely wants me dead right now.
But he is no more. He's a big old pile of goop. And on that spell casting and exciting ending, that's where we leave it for this week, ladies and gents. Paelias, kicking some butt, training some teams, taking some names. I've been your host and DM of this Paelias one-shot. Across from me is
Dash as Paelias Eoner.
Grab your swords and keep on adventuring.
Follow us across all platforms with Chaotic Amateurs. Please subscribe, rate, and review our show on your podcast app of choice to help us climb the charts and find new adventurers. Or become a patron on Patreon to help our heroes continue their quest. Thank you for listening to Chaotic Amateurs.